In other news now, parents have expressed their frustrations with the high cost of school uniforms. Inland schools are opening for the 2023 school year tomorrow, and many parents have been standing in long queues at school uniform suppliers to get what they need. Parents say, in general, costs are higher, and this has affected their pockets. Pule Letshwiti-Jones has been up and about following this story tomorrow on the eve of the start of the inland school year. He's joining us now live from Pretoria. Good afternoon, Pule. Welcome to today, and thank you for your time. I understand you've been speaking to a number of people, number of stakeholders, role players, about the cost difference between branded school uniforms and unbranded school uniforms.
Yeah, definitely, Brian. I mean, some of these consumer analysts believe that this is actually, one element that the Department of Education needs to look into to accommodate, school pupils who cannot afford a branded uniform, to kindly ask if they can also, wear a uniform that's not branded. They believe that this could be a form of uniform being cheap for those parents who cannot afford. I mean, currently it's the month of January, and you know that many families are coming from that festive season where they've spent a lot as well during Christmas and of course during New Year, and they believe that this is one direct element that can actually talk to the challenges that parents face when it's January. Perhaps let's just take a listen to what one analyst had to say regarding this whole issue.
There's a reason why there's a price difference between a standard uniform versus the branded ones. You see, the standard uniforms that you find in some of the bigger retailers, I mean, there's economies of scale there, and as a result, they're able to sell them cheaper because then they've produced them in bulk. But the ones that you get in the small shops that have exclusive arrangement with the schools, they don't have the kind of muscle and the mass production of this uniform. So it ends up becoming more expensive than a standard uniform.
Now, I'm just wondering, Pule, this kind of a scenario, how does it come into play? I mean, what's the state of play at different schools, because they have policies around school uniforms?
Yeah, definitely. Hence they say that it would be within a government, the Department of Basic Education, especially in the country, to say that they should try and look into this regulation and see if it's something that really cannot help some of these parents, because as much as, yes, there are schools which have accommodated for that element, some schools, of course, are not looking to go via that route. They want to strictly adhere to their school policies and ethos as well. But this is not something which is only affecting parents. I mean, some of the manufacturers I spoke to, they believe that material such as fabric has become quite expensive, and of course the resources that they have to use to try and manufacture some of the school uniforms is taking a toll on them, particularly because the inflation rate also is high and things are quite expensive and costly nowadays. And under this, of course, the struggling economy we under in this country, and of course again on the global resources being impacted, such as petrol as well, due to, amongst other issues, the Russia-Ukraine war. So this whole a global phenomenon has a direct impact onto our economy, and of course role players on the ground who essentially need to sell these school uniforms back to the parents. But let's just take a listen to what analysts had to say.
Every school has its own unique school uniform policy, so you have to find out from the school as a parent which items the school is comfortable or flexible with you getting a standard item from some of the other retailers instead of going for the branded ones. So I don't believe that every single item must be branded. There should be certain items which don't have to be branded for the sake of those who cannot afford.